Oh my goodness, it's another Monday evening, and we get the opportunity to be live for the American Song Contest. And as per usual, it's me, Alicia Michelle, your favorite American Eurovision fan. But in this capacity, it's just, I guess, me being me. Because this isn't Eurovision, we're talking about the American Song Contest, and like many of the live streams that we've had so far, I am being joined by my mom. Mom, you're on mute. So you go first. You're on mute though. There we go.
Um, okay. Good evening, Alicia fans.
And you,
Happy to be here.
yeah, and you're not alone though. So you've invited someone else, because like I think that you're the target demo. So I feel like they need to hear more, from you because I'm a Eurovision fan. So give a little intro to your friend who is joining us this evening.
So this is my friend, Gwen Grady, and we've done many videos together and educational programs. And we have a saying: when you're not in the meeting, you could get voluntold to do things. So we've both been voluntold to participate in this activity. And Gwen, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. It's a great treat to be here tonight. Thank you for including me, Verna.
And where are you signing in from tonight?
I'm signing in from the great city of music, Detroit, Motown.
All right.
All right, so we're just going to hop into this stream typically the way that we do, where we start off and talk about our favorites from the evening. So, Gwen, since you're new, you're the guest, I will let you kick off, and you can only pick one. This is your favorite. We'll go through all the songs later, but what was the song that truly stood out to you this evening?
Oh, so I can only choose one. Well, I looked at several things: voice, the composition of the song, the energy level, but also the level of experience by the person singing. And there were actually two, but I'm going to go with New Hampshire. And it was, it had to do with her state and the meaning of life. So that was my favorite. Other than, we'll talk more about my second favorite.
All right, Mom. So, what was your favorite of tonight?
So tonight was tough. I'm like Gwen. I got a couple. And I looked at a lot of different things, but I was trying to think about, what song really spoke to me, that connected with me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm gonna go with Pennsylvania. I really like the song Plenty Love. I like the way she performed it. I like the lyrics. So I'm going with Pennsylvania.
All right. Okay, so like we said, we're going to go through all of these songs. But before we get into that, let's talk about the overall show because we've had 3 weeks. This is week 4 of the American Song Contest. And I know, Mom, we've been watching this all along and kind of seeing little tweaks and things and changes along the way. I think that this show is starting to really hit its stride and like really get into a nice groove. I know that it was controversial last week when they decided to reveal the jury results, but I'm not going to lie. I'm actually thinking that I like this. After every episode, we do see sort of where the jury stands. I like the whole when we go to the commercial for some of the commercial breaks. Sometimes you notice Kelly even tells us, hey, thanks to this sponsor, we'll be back in 60 seconds. So you know that that's going to be a shorter commercial break because I was dying off the first week. The first week was killing me with the commercials. But I think that they've been like ironing out some of the kinks. So let's just talk about the overall show and production of it. Gwen, do you think you'll be back to watch the show next week?
I'm the jury is still out. The time is an influencer for me. I have a nightly devotional that starts at 8:30 with my granddaughter, and it's important time.
Mhm.
So we'll see. And maybe I'll pull her in. So I
Mhm.
still have to decide.
All
Mhm.
right, now, Mom, how are you feeling? Because we've been watching the show since the beginning, and I don't know if have you picked up on some of the tweaks that they've been making just to the production aspects of the show?
Well, that's not my area of expertise. So I would just say I've enjoyed watching the show. I think every week it has gotten more competitive, more challenging in terms of determining just who and which song is the favorite.
Mm.
So I think they're probably getting better. That's not my area of expertise, so I cannot say how it's getting better, but there's that.
Well, we've got a question here. So, Mom, you and I were here already. Let's just, before we get into breaking down each of the entries this evening, let's take a moment to reflect on the jury from last week because we were here. Now, we all liked Tennessee. So, Tennessee was our jury qualifier. It was a lock. We knew that. Now, I just want to say, since you got to tell me so about Jonah and why don't we fire it up? I feel like I now get to tell you so on Colorado. I knew that Florida was not going to advance. Given the information we have from the previous weeks, from my perspective, it was very clear that Florida had the deck stacked against them. Now, yes, Florida also had second place with the jury. So, I mean, Florida had some pad to go with, but they didn't make it through. And Colorado, I think, was in that sixth spot because New Jersey was fifth before we had the televote, and Colorado with that whole family of performers and whatnot, and he was on a Disney show and everything. And I think the song was easy breezy, so Colorado was able to make it through. Alabama was a solid performance. I missed the first 40 seconds of it because the audience was too loud, so I couldn't really place the vocal, but it was very good. I wanted that song to advance. It happened, and we all knew that Texas was a lock. But we lost Alaska. That was Jewel. We lost again Florida. We lost New Jersey. We lost Delaware, which I think Delaware was one of the standouts from last week. Good vocal performance, interesting song. And then honestly, the rest I didn't think were going to advance, which were Louisiana, Northern Marianas, South Dakota, South Carolina. But I will say what was notable about the results from last week is that Jewel ended up finishing so high, which leads me to believe that this mythical fan favorite sort of situation to me tells me that not only are we going to be having a moment to new boot goof, but we are most likely going to be having a moment to dance along to Jewel. What did you think of the results from the jury last week, Mom? Do you feel like the four that advanced you were cool with?
Yes, I think we hit all of them. We were. I looked at your list. You were all on point. I did have Colorado down and on my list with some question marks. Honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised that Alabama made it through. I did. I enjoyed them, and I'm happy for Alabama.
All right. Well, so, and someone asked who won the jury tonight. So let's just talk. Let's actually kick off and talk about Washington State. And so Washington State was our show closer, and then we'll go back and talk because Washington State was our winner. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to say it out loud. I said it out loud to some people. Eurovision fam, they know what I'm talking about because I said it to them. I knew once I saw Alan Stone on the list of performers, Alan Stone was actually the one that I was like, oh, he's probably gonna win. Um, Alan Stone is truly textbook definition musician's musician, an artist, creative guy, master. songwriter, giving something that I think to many feels unexpected. For those of us who are familiar with Alan Stone, it's like, oh, he's doing him. I mean, this song is just so authentic to what Alan Stone does. And he won the jury. Gwen, how did you feel about Alan Stone's performance?
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was worthy of being our winner for the night? Because this is the thing, no one has to vote for him at this point, because
Right.
he's already in.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we started at the beginning and you asked me who my first pick was, it was actually him. However, there's this sense of the underdog. I mean, this is a man who's a Grammy winner, who people know. He's written songs. He's not new to the industry. Whereas our New Hampshire, Mary Fly, I feel like this is somebody who's new on the scene, who hasn't had the exposure. So the man was amazing. You know, I kind of listed the things I looked at. The song was amazing, from the Superman and the cape, the energy, his voice. Oh my God. And by the way, I'm not familiar with Alan Stone. I have to tell you, I know nothing about him. But when I heard this man tonight, I knew he would be number one. But I feel like, okay, yeah, you're coming to the table already with a full plate. So I felt like somebody else gets an opportunity to be showcased.
I'm not mad at you, Mom. How are you feeling about Alan Stone from Washington State?
Yeah, everything that Gwen said. I did look at the rehearsal leak and I was like, oh my goodness. I would just go on and say now, from the rehearsal leak, there were some performers that I was happy to see the entire performance, because it did change my first impression. But he was awesome, and like Gwen, I really was not familiar with him prior to this, but hearing his voice, his performance, it wasn't a lot going on stage, but he didn't need it. He didn't need it.
Yeah.
I think you all are so right. And one thing I will tell you, I'm going to just say this right now. Now, I've been in these Eurovision streets for quite some time. So, I'm coming into the American Song Contest extremely humble, because there's no precedent. I mean, with Eurovision, I've got 60 plus years of data to analyze and kind of go, oh, yes, this kind of happens and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going into this relatively fresh. But I must say, I think for the whole of the competition, our three front runners are Rhode Island, Washington State, and Sparrow, Kentucky, Jordan Smith. And and I will say, I think that I do think that Washington State does best Rhode Island. I went back and watched Rhode Island again, because it was a song, Rhode Island hit me in the snippet. And I was like, oh, this is the type of song that could win this competition. Washington State trumps it. Washington State trumps it, not just because it's Alan Stone, but then Alan Stone actually delivered, giving us what he does so well. So I'm not mad at Alan for calling out Rhode Island in the snippet, because real talk, Alan's doing it. So let's just move into our portion where we just talk about all the songs and go through this. Let's go. So and to all the people in the comments, we're going to be talking about the jury, because I'm not going to lie. I'm harking back, and I tweeted this, to why I left radio and some of the jury behaviors. Yeah. I'm harking back to that, because when I look actually at the people who are on the jury, it's a ton of Clear Channel iHeart people. And I say this is someone who did not work for Clear Channel or iHeart. But there's a reason why I didn't work for them. Because I didn't want to be fired. But it's a ton of music programmers. And I think, unfortunately, with having those music programmers, I think the idea was, well, if we have all these radio folks join the jury, then maybe we can get them to play some of these songs on the radio, which I don't think is happening. And so if these songs are then, in Eurovision, I always say, juries, your job is to be music professionals, even though all of them are not music professionals. It is your job to save entries like Telemovish, Okay, I just had a moment. Flashback, Eurovision 2019. But like that's your function. But for the American Song Contest, it seems like the function of it, because there are so many music programmers and on-air hosts, like your job is to add it to the rotation. What is the point of you being here if you're not going to be adding the songs to the rotation? You work in radio. And don't play me with this stuff of, oh, radio people on air can't choose the music, because I single-handedly made Disclosure happen in the 757 in my night shifts. But I digress. I think the juries are making some interesting choices. Tonight is not a choice that and the crazy thing is I don't really disagree with any of their winners, so that's the issue. But once I begin to look at just the like the actual full jury ranking, that's when the questions pop up for me. So, with that said, let's move on to New Hampshire, who gave us a message song with a strong live vocal. I thought the vocal was mostly good.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about New Hampshire, Gwen? I know that was one of your favorites. Do you have any
Yeah.
additional thoughts on it?
Yeah, I liked it. One of the things that I also thought gave additional weight to some of my decisions had to do with the person and who they were. This is not just about a song, it's about a person, and it's about their life, and it's about what about their life do they bring into their music. And I felt like she brought her life into her music. She talked about being Latino. She talked about living in a small town. She talked about her family. So many of them natural birth, so many of them adopted. She talked about always being different. You know, she talked about, okay, she doesn't hate the skinnies, but this is who I am. So she talked about who she is as a person, and I love that. I also like the idea that her song really was a reflection of where she came from in New Hampshire. Part of the song was spread your wings and fly, to be a fighter and to be a survivor. I thought all of those things were important because they were a part of who she was. And so her song wasn't just words. Her song was her life. And that's what I liked about her. And I thought she had a great voice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Mom, how are you feeling about New Hampshire? I know you're weak for a message song. So how did you feel about it?
I liked her confidence. She definitely had confidence. There was a uniqueness about her. I liked the fact that she talked about New Hampshire and she mentioned living art. And she says, I am living art. So she really put herself into the song, into the performance. I thought there was a lot of energy. Um, Her vocals, her voice was it was clear. There were some times when, because it's a message song, I wish it was a little heavier and stronger, or just the tone of her voice, but she was consistent within her performance, and I liked it. I loved, especially like the staging, and also that the drum beat, sort of steady, and like the beat of the heart and the beat of the wings of the bird flying. So I like that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that vocally she was mostly good. Y'all know how I feel about message songs. It's not my thing. If it's going to be a message song, I need it to be advanced. But I really feel like she could potentially have a really strong, like, Christian music career ahead of her. And before we move on to our next entry, we have a visitor. We have a special guest. It's our first special guest of the evening. And I hope y'all all get hyped and excited for it. And Mom, you should be like particularly excited. Um, it's Elmira from Virginia.
Yay! Thank you for joining us, Virginia in the house.
Yes, we love Virginia girls. When she told me she was from Hampton, I was like, "Oh, you get it, girl. You get it."
Two
Well,
up,
thank
two
you.
down.
Yes, forever.
Okay, well, Elmira, I have to ask, what was it like being, so it's not like an arena, it's like you're in a studio, right?
Yeah.
It's a studio. What was it like just being an artist? Because we're talking about the show this evening. And I mean, people perform. Now you didn't have to perform too early. So you didn't have to wait around too much, right? Like in the audience. But what was just the vibe in the building? And yeah, what was it like?
Girl, I should have put you on my guest list. Would you have flown out to LA to come?
First of all, you already know I would have. I will always make time. I will always make time. But yeah, like what? Yeah, just what? Because I think with Eurovision, it's so different because we're doing it in an arena. Oh, mom, you have a question?
Yes, please give us a little recap.
Yeah.
Amira, week 2, for people who might be tuning in for the first time. She was one of the performers. Her song was "Over You." Is that right? There
Yes.
we go. Now,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was an amazing experience. Like, the whole stage setup is just crazy. Like, just the way that they built it, and they like really were able to separate it between, like the audience and the friends and family, like, but you were still able to interact. And like, I had friends. I was actually in my round, so week 2, I was actually the one that had the most overflow. That's what they call it. So I had like the most guests. Like all my friends took off PTO work. We love that. And they came out to support me. And then I also have my family and stuff. And so, I was able to see my friends in the crowd, and then like I was sitting with my family and stuff. And it's just amazing. I mean, it feels so like I just watched the episode, right? And I was like, wow, like they make it look so like quick of a turnaround. But then when you're sitting in there, like you're people aren't really thinking like when you're a contestant, or even if you're in the live audience, like what they do for commercial breaks. Like during commercial breaks, they'll have like somebody come out and like, they'll throw t-shirts at like the crowd, and people are like going crazy. They're like, I got a t-shirt. Like, people will jump over people for a free t-shirt. And they're getting people ready for like the next artist. They're like, can we give it up for, like, we need some more energy, we need some, you know what I mean? And then like it just depends on when you're going, and then someone will like pull you, and they'll pull you backstage and stuff and get you ready. And it's just like, honestly, it was like my first time being on like a TV set, so it was like really cool to see like all the moving parts that they make it happen so quick. And but then it's just like the viewers at home, like they'll like watch through like a 5-minute commercial, but then in those 5 minutes in Hollywood, it's like boom, 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 like all these moving parts going around, and just like make the show go so smoothly, and it's just amazing. Really good at it.
Now I have to ask, after you were on the stage, like, did y'all get opportunities to sort of interact with each other? Like, and I'm also thinking like COVID is playing a role in this, but yeah, did you have opportunities to engage with some of the other contestants? And like, if so, who do you feel like is your bestie
Yeah,
now?
honestly, like and when it comes to the contestants, like they had to go through all this whole process of like boosters and PCR tests and all that stuff, but they were just so like friendly. Everyone, you can just interact with anyone in those 5 minutes. Like I could have ran to like another artist booth and like just talk to them and have fun with them, say hi to their family and their friends. Like Broderick, for example, like Broderick, who represented Kansas, and he made it to the next round. At one point, one of his friends, during the 5-minute break, one of his friends literally ran to my booth, grabbed me from my family. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then he was like, I just wanted to say hi to you. Like, I'm so excited for your performance. I was like, oh, hey. And Broderick had like all of his like best friends from Kansas. So, it's like guys that are like my age, and like, they know what it's like. We're all just so excited to be there. So, I definitely became close with Broderick and Chloe, Anissa. Everyone was amazing. I love Jocelyn. Like we, as week 2, I feel like we just all clicked so well. Like not like we had much comparison, because week 1 we just didn't see as much content coming from all the contestants together, right? But then when we came together, we were like, oh yeah, we're making TikToks. Like at one point, we were all standing in a parking garage, like learning each other's dances. We're like, you have to learn this dance because we're doing this video like right now. So it was funny. Oh my God, Roger's in the chat. we had
Okay. Broderick is not just in the chat, y'all. We are getting blessed this evening. This is a very special American Song Contest after party, after show stream. And yes, we've got Broderick in the building.
I love you. I love you. How you been? I love I miss you.
wearing the same green sweater. I'm embarrassed.
Hey, you look good in it, girl. Keep it up.
Thank you, Broderick. How you been?
Good. How are you? Hey, ladies. How you guys doing? Everyone is all good in here. You guys are beautiful women.
Reunion. I'm about to cry. Hold on. Let me put this on my Instagram story.
Hey, she loves pulling out the phone.
I know. Can we say a little hello?
Hey, BA, you know what's up? In a building.
All right, 2 up, 2 down.
Hey, she said 2 up, 2 down.
She knows what is
She know what's up. She know what's up, man.
Okay, Broderick. Well, we asked Elmira. Oh wait, Mom, do you have you want to ask the question to Broderick?
No, I just wanted to say, hey, Broderick. Yes, thank you for joining us. You were one of my favorites, so there you go.
Hey, thank you so much. It's I like, you know, it's just a blessing to be around great artists like her and, you know, everyone else. Like, so I'm just happy to be, you know, involved with it.
But you have more to go, right?
Yeah, more to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what heat I'm in yet, so you know, I'm still just taking it day by day. But I'm excited just to see what happens from here.
And Broderick, say hi to my friend Gwen.
Gwen, how you doing, Gwen?
This was the first time she watched the show, so she didn't
Hi,
get to
Broderick.
see your performance.
Okay.
But she could go back on the YouTube and view Amira and Broderick's performance.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
That's your homework for next week.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay,
Sure
well,
will.
Broderick, I have to tailor a question to you because you have now advanced, all right?
Yeah.
Have they given you any information? Like, I know you can't tell us everything, so I'm not trying to get you in trouble. But what is it like once you realize, like, okay, I'm going, like, are you back home? Are they going to fly you out separate again? Do we know where the final is happening? Like, you don't have to tell us specifics, but just like, what is that after you find out, okay, you've advanced?
So basically I'm back home now, and I'm assuming I'll be back home until the qualifiers end. And then they'll decide who are in the semifinals, because I'm assuming they still want to break it up to like where it's not like all pop people or all R&B, all rock and roll. So they're seeing like how it plays out, and then they'll send everyone out. And so I'm waiting just like y'all, you know.
Broderick, where is home?
Kansas, sweet Kansas.
So this is so interesting because what I was sort of saying before, like with Eurovision, it's been happening for 60 years.
Yeah.
So we know it, and it's only 1 week. Now, yes, there are pre-parties and sort of these like promotional tours along the way that the artists sort of have. But in America, we're doing it a little bit more formalized in a sense. It really is mirroring, I think, a little bit more of the format of Melody Grand Prix, which is Norway's Eurovision national selection, or even Melody Festival. And of course, because Krister, which at this point, I don't know if y'all have met Krister.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I've got an old picture. I'm like, I can find, it's like probably because I took it when I didn't even have this phone. That's how old the picture. That's how old the picture is. Oh, here we go. I'm pulling it up. So I both look crazy. I found literally I was on the stage in Sweden, Melody Festival, and dancing, and someone's dancing behind me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I turn around and it's him, you know. So, but with Eurovision, we have sort of this idea of the format and whatnot. But like with the American Song Contest is kind of unknown. We asked Elmira about like just what it was like to be in the green room. Could you talk to us about that energy a little bit for you?
The green room. What's the green room?
Oh, we call it, so in Eurovision, we call it the green room, but it's not the green room. It's when you're set after you've done your performance and you get to sit down.
Yeah.
Oh, the dressing room and stuff? Like where we like hung out and stuff?
Well, what I described to her, I was describing like the banquettes and stuff. Like I talked about how like one of your friends literally grabbed me from my section, and I was like, "Please go."
My friends love her. They love her.
Stop it! I don't know what to do with all this attention.
No, but not yeah, it's super dope, especially having, your friends and your family there, people who've been there from the beginning. Um it's crazy. I mean, I honestly don't even really remember that much, but I don't know why. I can't think back, but it was
Usually CrossFit small.
All right, so we've been doing. Now we're going through the show. Did y'all both watch the show this evening?
I did not watch it.
Okay, you didn't
I was
watch.
about to watch it because I realized that I don't even have like any streaming stuff. So I'm like, "Well, how do I watch this? Like, how do I watch it?"
I'm like, if you don't hop on the local,
Right? No, that's why
like
it's so weird.
random stream of watch live in Google website
Because usually they send
thing.
us like a link, but I haven't got a link. I don't have a link.
They didn't.
Did you get it?
I was watching on my TV. My parents still got cable.
She got big money, big money.
I was about to say, I'm like, Almira, you're like down the street, right? I'm like, next week
Yes.
we just need like we need to do an American song. Actually, you know what? I could do that.
You really should.
Actually, I'm not lying.
Girl, I'm in DC every day. All my best friends live in DC.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, actually, I might make a call and maybe next week because I'm like, how long am I here before I go to Italy?
Because I told him, I was like, you remind me of a boy from the DMV. Like, your energy is crazy.
Because I wear
Crazy
New
like this, because I'm coming to Kansas.
Pull up on me.
No, but I think we should figure that out. But now let's talk about Nevada. We talked about New Hampshire this evening, so let's talk about Nevada. Nevada was the Crystal Method. I was familiar with them ahead of time. Great staging, which is something that, let's be real, like, so in Eurovision circles, the mastery of a DJ and sort of singer act, staging wise, has not always worked. There's more exceptions that, like, and folks that have done it right than folks who have sort of faltered. But this was great. I liked it, but I like stuff like this. Mom, how did you feel about Nevada?
It gave me flashbacks of Tommy. Y'all probably don't even know what that is.
Oh, you mean Tommy the Who? Really? Okay.
The movie.
See me?
I was thinking Tommy from Power. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
You don't, yeah.
Roderick, I'm thinking from Rugrats.
Rock, acid. Gwen might know what I'm talking about. Not that we do acid, but I'm just saying. It was, yeah. He said they started in 97 or something. And it seemed like it was still 97 to me. It was not my cup of tea. Sorry. It was a lot going on. Gwen, what's your thought?
I have to tell you, I think it's our generation, because I took notes and I said too much. It was noise to me. And for anybody who's been to Las Vegas, and I'm certain, most people have, sometimes when you're walking through those casinos and lights are flashing every which way, and it's overstimulating for your nervous system. It was too much for me. But again, I think it's part of my generation. I couldn't appreciate any music because of lights flashing. So, but that was my take on it.
Okay. Well, I have to say, we're definitely going to be trying to procure some type of American Song Contest viewing party in DC event. I'm actually going to send an email. I'm going to make a call and then send a formal email tomorrow because I think it could happen. But Nevada, I was feeling. I was feeling it. Almira, you watched the show tonight. How are you feeling about Nevada?
Honestly, I am a little young, so I've never heard of them, but I love the vibes. I kind of grew up listening to like more. This is actually kind of like interesting because I'm an R&B singer, but growing up, because like my parents are immigrants, I actually grew up more around like rock and like soft rock and stuff like that. So like I always kind of have loved. That's why like in my music, I do have like the 90s inspiration, but I always lean towards like guitar and stuff. Like that's an instrument that I love hearing because I think it's because of that. But I mean, I think they were great. Like they went second, right? After after.
Yeah, after New Hampshire. And so let's talk about so let's move on to Utah. Savannah Keys, Sad Girl. Uh Gwen, how are you feeling about Utah?
Yeah. So I thought that I actually liked the song because, as she said, it's okay to sometimes allow that part of you to be seen. And again, a lot of the music also had, for me, it has to do with who the person is and where the song is derived from. Okay, it's not somebody else's song that you sing. It's your life that you put into a song that you sing. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that part. I thought the energy was kind of low on the song. And I was also looking at energy levels. I thought her voice was okay. So it was an okay for me.
All right, Mom. What did you think?
I describe her voice as pleasant. I actually liked the staging. I thought her costume was nice. I thought the song was well sung. Um, I thought it was a solid performance. Wasn't top of the list for the evening.
All right. Yeah, I have to say, in Utah, do they have Southern accents? This is just this one thing that I do with Eurovision, where it's like randomly, sometimes like these Europeans will bust out in these songs talking about, I know what you doing. I'm like, you don't talk like that. What are we doing? Like, I'm like, what? And so then, like, I remember seeing the postcard, and then with the song, it went into country. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. I actually like this. This might be my favorite, like, country pop girl of of the American song contest, and I liked the content of the song. Like, this was not just some like pop track, like country pop kind of song. I actually felt like the lyrics had depth and she was telling a real story, so I was feeling it. I don't know, Almira, did you have thoughts on Utah? Because if not, we can get to talking about
No,
DC.
I liked it. Honestly, it surprised me.
Yeah.
I could tell like personality wise, she's not like super outgoing, but she's just like one of those people that like will captivate you with your voice, and it's like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like you meet singers and you see singers, and then you kind of can tell that they have a big like, you know, evoking voice, whatever. But like I just you wouldn't really tell that off of personality, but then when you heard it, it's kind of like what Summer Walker does to you. You know, like you
Yeah.
Summer Walker to have that voice, and then like you hear it, it's like, oh my gosh. I think that it's nice that she sang about something that's like realistic. You know, not to say
Hmm.
songs aren't, but like you don't hear that context very often in that genre.
Who's this? See, y'all got me hyped up. I'm trying to go watch it.
Yeah.
Who's this?
This was Utah. Savannah Keys was
Savannah Keys, yes, and she's very pretty. She's
Yeah.
very
the
pretty and
staging was
has
beautiful.
really good, yes, really good stage presence.
Savannah, you
And,
see the white lady?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And you could focus on her, not on all the stuff going on around her, which is the other thing I kind of liked.
So you like staging with less dancers and more focused in?
I think it's okay to have dancers,
It
but I
depends.
think that there's some moderation.
I feel you.
Again, you have to understand, I'm really old
Yeah.
school. I'm a baby
I
boomer.
like that. I
You
like
can
that.
have too much stuff.
I'm gonna keep that in mind for next time. I don't want to catch y'all talking about. I'm like,
Well,
No,
now Broderick,
pause this time, Broderick.
I'm gonna just say Broderick. Now I don't know if I was just jealous. I
no,
could have been.
give me
I
some
could.
tips. Give me some tips.
I'm just saying I could have been being a hater, but I didn't think you needed five dancers. Wasn't
Okay.
it five?
Yes, it was five. It was
Mm-hmm.
five.
See, I
Listen,
remember
here's the thing.
five.
I was like, there could have been more, but I was like, nah, five is the max that I'll have.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people be having a lot of dancers in there. I was like, nah, I need. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I am writing notes. I'm like, all right, bet. What else I need? Okay, bet. I need the people's vote, and here we go. Um,
Well, Broderick, in case you missed our recap for week 2, I'll give you my notes. So I like the Man in the Moon, really like the Man in the Moon,
Yes.
and I think I think Kelly and Snoop may have mentioned your production, and we all felt that it was very well produced. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go.
There it is. Thank you for the notes. I'm gonna take them back, and hopefully, I'll be going to the finals. Hopefully, if y'all vote for me, so vote, so vote.
Just sneak in as one of your dancers.
Come
All
on.
right. Low key though, actually, I would love to procure a moment. Almira, can you take choreography? You could do a little bit, right? Not a whole lot.
Well, I'll be dancing.
Okay, okay, because really, I just feel like the song needs the girl. You know what I
We
mean?
just want one girl.
Yeah, kind of. Just, the girl.
Okay.
And then low key, it'd be kind of nice if you had a singer dancer, Amira, Virginia. Then you could get, some levels and some nice harmonies to build on it. I'm just over here producing.
No, did you understand the concept of it?
What I mean, was there like a deep? I mean, to me it was Man in the Moon. That's what I felt. It was like sort of dreamscape. I thought also, well, this might be too deep, but I thought like La Petite Prince.
Okay.
Yeah.
So initially it was I wanted to be the boy, instead of the boy fishing on the moon, the boy singing on the moon, and I'm wishing on a star, and that's why the falling star turns into a girl. She dances, and initially at the beat drop, I wanted all the stars to keep falling, and they turn into different dancers. But then for TV, we did that reveal thing, and that's what it came into. But now I'm trying to. I don't know if I'm speaking too much. I don't know if they're gonna see it.
I mean, this is the thing. They're gonna see it, so you can stop. Let's just say this. Let's just say this. Just because you saw the performance in I guess they're not calling these the semis. These are what, the pre-qualifications?
Yeah, qualifiers.
Which this is a note, because I think that they were trying to be different from some of the Eurovision things. Let's just call these heats. You know what heats are.
Yeah.
These should be heats. Then we have the semifinal. Then we have the final. That is what I would say. But even with some of the Eurovision national selections, that doesn't mean that just because you did this in your national selection, or even like one of the heats before the final, that doesn't mean that that's the staging that you have to keep. So you can always tweak, refine, and enhance.
Yeah. You feel me?
Okay.
But yeah, I'm about to go watch it. Y'all are hyping me up. I'm trying to go see what's up.
You gotta go watch. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We know you're gonna be in the lab, and we are pulling for you, Kansas.
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me, and stay awesome. I love you. I love you, Mara.
Love you. I'll call you later this week.
No, please do. Thank you guys so much, and we out.
Congratulations. Be looking to see you.
Thank you. Bo, Kansas.
AC.
Yes, it was so great to be blessed by someone, and thank you, Amira, for giving your time. Can we have more of it? A little bit?
I could stay to the end.
Yes. Oh. Okay. I'm all in. I'm all in. So let's move on. Let's talk about our local sensation. Well, my local sensation, and low key, my mom's hometown. My mom was born in DC, lived her whole life basically in DC, and then relocated to VA. Let's talk about DC. Mom, what did you think?
So I like that Snoop found a little go-go in it. I was hoping to hear a little bit more go-go in it. I mean, honestly, I try to find something nice, but I was disappointed. I'm sorry. I thought his video, Gwen, you talk about the people and where they're from and stuff. And so, being from DC, even in his video, I felt like there was more stuff that he could have pulled from. Washington's very rich. So I was a little disappointed with that. I think he has good stage presence and he's a performer. And that's all.
All right,
Sorry.
Gwen, what did you think of DC?
I thought I wasn't clear on the message, and I'm also a message person. If I hear a song, I want to know how does this speak to me? I wasn't clear on it, and maybe it's just because I didn't understand it. I don't know. So that's not necessarily positive or negative. And I thought his stage presence was good. but I wasn't completely clear what it was he was saying to me. How are you speaking to me, and how do I relate to this? So he wasn't high on my list, unfortunately. He wasn't.
Almira, did
Wait, I
you
got
have thoughts? Oh, wait, you want to come back? Okay, Mom, you can go.
no. I'm sorry. Something in the chat. Where's Troy? Troy talked about Florida Avenue.
Uh, don't know because people be don't say nothing about Florida Avenue. Nothing about yeah, but Florida Avenue. There's a T-Mobile store that plays go-go. We don't know nothing about Florida Avenue. We don't.
Okay.
We don't know nothing about Florida Avenue.
But
All
I
right.
think I completely, honestly, like, I understand. I wish he incorporated more go-go as well, but I understand why he kind of put it in like a halfway point in the song, and then it was kind of like a drop, because I think people that aren't from here and have never heard go-go, like, they are unfamiliar with it, and it's just like, to America, like, a lot of them, when I came on the competition, nobody knew what the DMV stood for. They were like, "You mean the Department of Motor Vehicles?" I'm like, bro, like, it's like everything that I live my whole life on, and you're telling me you don't need to know what these three regions together means? Like, it's just crazy. So it's just, if they don't even know what that acronym is, like, I can only imagine how people would react if they heard full on go-go. And obviously
Yeah,
that's not to say that he shouldn't have done that, but I think it was just like it was like a trying to be a little bit of his own sound plus commercial TV sound in a way, a little bit of both, so he's like digestible enough for people that know.
yeah. No, look, I will just say one of the things that I loved about this heat, and this is why I told Broderick the truth, that they be watching, because they be watching. I just, hey, I know y'all be watching. Uh, I didn't feel embarrassed, and that was really the bar that I had for DC. Was like, just don't embarrass me. That was like really where I was coming from. And not only did it not embarrass, his vocal was good. The stage presence was good. The styling was good. This is a song that I could hear. Oh, mom, people want the dog. They want more dog. Let's not get Vicky hyped up though, because Vicky will be all over the stream. If we get too hyped up. No, I really did. Honestly, I really did actually like DC, and I was going into it kind of funky, just because it's like stuff that I like. I judge. I'm more picky. So like Almira, I was ready to go through with a fine tooth comb and find everything because the things that I feel really passionate about, I want them to be perfect because I want them to advance. So I'm gonna nitpick with the things that I really like. And ultimately, could I have had a full go-go song? Of course I could. I'm like,
Put
of
him
course I could. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I could have had a full go-go song and I would have been like, and great. Like, I'm living. But I thought that it was in a nice place in the song to
Mhm.
really I don't want to even just say amplify, but to give it somewhere to go. And so much with Eurovision, that's what we talk about. Having songs with dynamics that take us somewhere. And I think he did take us somewhere. But also, Mom, to your credit, I think the reason why the postcard was what it was is he's not from DC. He's not, right? He's not from DC. He's not from DC.
I think
No.
from PG County.
Okay.
But it's kind of, kind of that conversation of how, like, the Maryland and the DC, they kind of sometimes will coincide into one, but I'm not really part of that conversation. I'm from Virginia, and
Yeah,
Virginia
yeah.
is so hey, leave
Well,
me
no,
with it.
no, well, let's move on because let's go to Massachusetts because Massachusetts, Jared Lee giving us some R&B, low key could potentially end up giving us the nugget of R&B that we get. Potentially moving on. Yeah, Almira, what did you think of Massachusetts? Because you're an R&B songstress.
My God, to be
What
honest,
did you
I did
think?
not even watch this one because I was eating. And then at the top of the jury list, I was like, oh my God, I should have watched this one.
He yeah, so
I will watch.
so he was number 2 with the jury.
Mhm.
Now, being number 2 with the jury doesn't mean anything because Florida was number 2 last week and did not advance.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie. I think Jared might advance. Mom, what did you? Oh, actually, Gwen, what did you think of Jared Lee with Shameless?
Shameless. Yeah,
Yes.
I liked it. I liked his voice. I liked the choreography. The one thing in particular, when he talked about fire under his feet, how the floor kind of had that swirling sensation, I thought, whoa, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I thought his voice was nice. I liked the song and the message of the song. His energy level was good. It wasn't too much stuff, but it was enough for me to hear him and be able to focus on what he was saying. So I liked him. I wasn't surprised that he was number one for so long.
Yeah. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people were surprised. Like I was live tweeting it, and I think a lot of people were surprised. I wasn't though. I don't know why. Mom, what did you think of our
I like
Boston boy?
Yes, I liked him. I liked the passion that was in his voice. Like Gwen, I loved the staging and the lighting, and it made sense. It connected with the song, and I like that part about the fire under his feet and the change. I thought he had good stage presence, and I think he will continue to advance. That's my prediction on that one.
All right. Now I will say this. He was giving me a little John B. Light. And I actually say that as a compliment, okay? I think his girlfriend was unfortunately, in the family booth. But if they break up, you know, I'm here. And Boston's not that far. It's an easy train ride. I've done it before. I can get on the flight. So I'm down. The runs that he had were just perfection. The runs were just running for me to my soul and also hopefully to my DMs. Okay. Call me Jared Lee. All right, let's move on to Georgia. I had the opportunity to interview Georgia. Now, Almira, what did you think of Georgia? Did you catch our girl?
Yes, Stella, my queen, my bad bitch queen. Ugh, we love the breakup energy. You already know that my song was about a breakup, so I was like, yes, you better shame that man. Like, I don't know. Like, I knew she was going to be a standout. I was able to get dinner with her actually, like, um, when we came back. Yeah, when we came back Sunday night before my results show, like she came to our dinner, so she was the only one that wasn't in our round that like was at dinner with us, and like she is just amazing. Like she is so empowering, beautiful inside and out. So I just knew that that was gonna be a part of her performance. And I think just her she's just a standout. She's a star. And the thing is, she's one of those artists that like people may not understand until it's big, until it's mainstream, until she's
Mm.
doing like you know, award shows and she's on the red carpet and you start to see her face everywhere, because it's like that's kind of how a lot of I feel like women in that sound and that vibe and look come out. Like at first people are like, oh, it's too much. Like and people will always try to dim that. And then when they're at the top, they're like, oh my God, I love it. So, I think Stella is amazing. Like I'm happy that what did she place in the juries? Like it was like
She was sixth.
okay,
So
6.
she's not gone out of the mix.
But I know she has a lot of
And
loyal.
she's a fan. Yeah, she has a fan base. Mom, what did you think? Because now when you saw the snippet, you actually evoked the name Beyonce. So, Mom, what did you think of Georgia DIY?
Yes, I thought there were some Beyonce moves going on. I watched a video of her because I couldn't find. This was before they leaked the rehearsal, so I watched another video that she had, and it was very entertaining and engaging. She knows how to work the camera. I think DIY would be a good club song. I mean, I could see people dancing and jamming to it. So, yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Gwen, were you buying DIY?
Yeah, it was sort of similar to Verna. And when you said that, that's exactly what was going through my mind. Is this a is this a I don't want to say copy of, but some similarities in terms of vibe and you know, choreography and the dancing and so forth of Beyonce. That's what I thought about. So, yeah, that's probably about all I have to say.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm all in on Stella Cole. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't think that I was even like sold into the performance. You know what I mean? Like before her, like it wasn't like, oh, I knew her catalog or anything like that. I was into this. She was selling it. I will say, I I noticed there were moments where I could see in her face, and this is me because I think I noticed these things. I could see in her face where she was like, one of these in ears is not working. Like I could just tell that she was like, and there was a moment where I was like, girl, I see you. But in my mind, I was like, but you sound good. You look good. Don't worry. Like, you're doing it. Like, you're literally doing it. Like, literally just doing it. I feel like she could really have a career. I hope she has a career. I'm sold on it. Let's move on. We've got four. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs. Well, no, technically just 4 because we already talked about Washington State. Let's talk about Hawaii. I will just say he was really good looking. Okay. Now, if Jared from Boston is taken, it's okay. Because I'm cool with Bronson from Hawaii. Gwen, what did you think of Bronson's song?
I like the fact that I felt like he was the boy next door. You know what I'm saying? He was sweet, and you know his message was good because it was for you and realizing your dream, and I felt like there was a good message, and his image had to do with also his background, that Hawaiian background. He was the only person I felt that their background actually represented where they were from. So I liked him. I thought he was just sweet.
All right, Elmira, what did you think of Bronson?
I think he did great. I mean, I feel like he's the type of guy that like you go on vacation, you fall in love with him, and then you just never see him again. And it's just like, oh man, like, and you think about him like 10 years later, you're like, oh my God, maybe if I go back to Hawaii, I'll run him back into him. You know what I mean? But I think they did great. Like, you know, with the staging, it was super simple, but it was definitely representative of, you know, his culture and everything that he knows. It's just amazing to see that state represented because it's just like, you know, that's something so different than the entire everything in the United States. So like I think he did great. The message, everything that he is too, and his story.
Absolutely. Okay, Mom, Hawaii.
I liked his vocals. You know, I appreciate it when I can understand the lyrics. So I thought his voice was clear. I liked the staging, the concept of the island, and then as the song went on, the island grew and he moved. At first, I was a little worried about the energy, and he didn't seem like he was going to move. But then he took hold of the stage and even went out and connected with some of the
Yes.
audience, and yeah, so I thought it was a solid performance. Yeah.
All right. And we'll leave it on this comment. It was a wholesome bop, Aiden. I agree. Let's go to West Virginia, another artist that I had the privilege of interviewing with Working on a Miracle. To me, the song felt fresh, familiar. It definitely felt radio friendly. Like it sounded like something that I was like, oh, if I was like scanning like the radio in my car, not just, XM, I would hear it. Mom, I'm going to pivot to you. What did you think of West Virginia? Your neighbors.
So I liked her voice. I liked the raspiness in her voice. I love somebody who can play an instrument and sing at the same time. That's like walking and chewing bubble gum. You know, it can get complicated, but I like that. The dancers were great. However, I felt like they were a distraction for this song.
Can I just say, I think that it would have been more effective. For some odd reason, we had a lot of wide shots of the stage. I think it would have been nicer, instead of the wide shots of the stage to see the dancers, to intersperse the staging more with shots of Alexis. She's telegenic. She's not bad looking. And you know what I mean? Like, 'cause sometimes you have ugly people on stage. Let's be real. I'm not saying it in the American Song Contest, but in life, sometimes there are ugly people on stage. And so it's like, oh, Lord, we got to pan out. We got to show some dancers, maybe even show people in the crowd who aren't even on the stage, because it's just like, what is happening right there? She is telegenic and pretty. And I felt like if we had more shots of her here, medium shots and some close ups, and maybe even some of her playing the guitar, because she really is a singer songwriter. And
Hmm.
then the dancers, maybe
I mean,
that
they.
note you have
I
would have been
I
met.
agree with you. I think I would have loved to see more of her. I mean, she was singing. Her voice was nice. I felt like she connected with the song. She was delivering the song, and then at one point, the dancers just crossed in front of her. I mean, that just seemed rude. I'm sorry. That's
Gwen, what did you think of West Virginia?
I have to ditto Verna. There were some points where I couldn't hear what she was saying because I was distracted by them. So I think that the dancers were very distracting, and maybe doing more focusing on her. And to your point, maybe, if I were listening to her on the radio, maybe it would have been completely different.
All right, Amira, what did you think of West Virginia?
Honestly, it's interesting that you guys say that about the dancers, because I think they added something more. Like, comparing her to, the other white blonde women that played guitar, she's the only one that had like two women kind of intimately dancing with each other, and that definitely plays into her story and, like, her own personal choices that she makes. And it's just like, that's really powerful, because, like, honestly, like, I wouldn't have really expected that, like, straight up representation, because she's not the only one in the contest that is, like, gay or something. Like, she's not the only one, but, like, she openly told it in her story and in her stage performance. So I think that's just a take on representation, and I think just, like, it adds to the story. I definitely get what you mean when it's, like, distracting and stuff, but I felt as though, like, I was reading the dancers and their body movements together, and then listening to her voice adding into it and, like, what she's talking about. And I was like, okay, they, like,
To,
all adds together.
I completely agree with you. That's why I say, I was like, I think we do all the things, but I would replace all the wide shots with Alexis and then keep the dancers doing what they're doing, because I do think it enhanced the performance. I think it made it a little bit different. She's on the cusp, and I'm honestly, I have to say, of the songs tonight, I am hoping she's the one outside of the top 4 that edges in. And there are some other songs I'm willing to let go to let this one edge in. This is a song I actually like. I'm gonna listen to this. There was something about it that just felt fresh and easy and boppy. Let's move on to Arizona now. I'm just gonna start this off and say, after the like seeing the rehearsal snippet, and we had a commercial break before them, I queued up Selena's Mueve, baila que esta cumbia. Dun, 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 dun. So during the commercial break, I was basically hyping myself up for Arizona. So when Arizona hit the stage, I was just like already all in on the vibe. Gwen, what did you think of Arizona?
Oh, I loved it because I love the diversity in the fact that, the song, there was energy behind it. These twins, I like the outfits. I thought they were cute. I didn't know what they were saying, but it didn't matter because I did know what they're saying. So I like them.
Mm-hmm. All right, Almira, what did you think of Arizona?
Sorry, my computer.
Ooh. Oh.
Sorry, my computer was, like, frozen for a second. I love their story. It's amazing. I mean, it's just like a story that isn't talked about enough in, like, mainstream media on that scale. People will think about, like, American hardship, and then they're not really thinking about how it affects, like, even just the youngest generations. And that's a very big issue legally with like immigration and deportation, all that stuff. So it's just like for them to talk about their story in that way is really empowering. And I think they just left it all on the stage. Like people may not have really known what they're talking about, but like you didn't have to understand the lyrics to like feel the emotion and that like they've been through a lot and they really just wanted to like give their all, whether or not they make it to the next round. I mean, that's what this whole competition is about, coming from one of the competitors. So it's just like I think they did what they had to do as young women and they stuck it through together. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Mom, Arizona.
So you were talking about the judges earlier, and this was one that surprised me because I think the judges have them at like number 10. But
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm.
I think I think America's gonna bring them up. So anybody watching, vote for Arizona because I agree with Gwen. Not only were they cute, but the harmony, the
Oh,
tightness
yes.
of their harmony, and then the guitars and the way the guitars gelled and the blend of the music. Right, my friend that I was hoping would join us to today probably could have translated for us, but I'm with Gwen. I don't know what they were saying, but I know what they were saying. It was good. I enjoyed them.
Yes, I think those young ladies gave us fire, and the way that they performed it. That's the thing. They were so emphatic with
Hmm.
everything that they were saying. I think I tweeted. I was like, it's like if you muted the sound, you could put a rap song over it and think and cue it up because they were so emphatic with it. And I think sometimes with pop songs, we don't see people delivering it that in that way, but it's because the song has depth and they really identify with it. And my mom knows this. I almost moved to Arizona low key to do organizing work there just because, yeah, we can talk about politics another day. Let's move on to Pennsylvania. And I have to say, I wish that I would have fought more to secure this interview. I sort of did my interviews and I fought Almira. I had to fight for you. I was like, no, 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 but we have to have a conversation. I did fight for West Virginia too. I was like, wait, hold on, hold on. I put this request in. Like, we need to make sure that this is happening. This conversation is happening. And I wish I would have fought more for Pennsylvania. I felt this. I loved the staging for it because I was getting concerned a little bit, and I noted this your week, Almira, because I'm like so many of the producers, and because it is from like Swedish folks, I was like, am I just gonna have to come in and just say, can I just stage all the R&B acts? Because I think there's a way to do it. This one was done really right. Mom, you already talked about Pennsylvania, but I'm going to pivot to you, Gwen, first, and then we'll go to you, Almira,
Mhm.
on Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I liked the song Plenty Love, and I liked the way she went from the singing to the rapping because even though I'm a baby boomer, there's sometimes I kind of like rap when I know what they're saying. And I knew what she was saying. And so I really actually, her voice kind of, I don't know what you call that. It wasn't like it was a smooth voice, but still it was a voice that got a message across. So I liked her.
All right, Almira, how are you feeling about Pennsylvania? Bree
I
from
love
Philly.
Bri Steves. It's crazy because like I used to listen to Bri Steves all the time when I was in college. Like she has this one song called Jealousy, and I love that record. It was like a really successful single for her a few years back, and she also went to college and she grinded her way through college and still became an artist, and that's kind of similar to my story. So I have always loved her. So finding out that like we were in the same competition, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I like you, like I was just kind of worried. I was like, okay, how are they going to stage her? How is she going to tell her story? But I think she did amazing. She reminded me of a young Lauren Hill. The fact that she was able to sing and then rap afterwards, and then just like, her look as like a woman of color, like being so proud to like represent what you come from, like that in itself like needs to be appreciated by America. And I need America to vote for Brie because she's literally a star, and like people don't really realized how difficult it is to sing, hit the notes, be on stage, look sexy, follow the movement, and then you still have to rap and still have the breath control to do that. Like that's very, very hard. So she's the only one in the whole competition that's done that too. So they better show out for her because I need that.
Yes. Okay, Mom, do you have any lasting thoughts on Pennsylvania? I know you spoke on it earlier, but yeah, how are you feeling about Miss Bree from Philly?
Vote for Pennsylvania because she needs votes. Because I feel like there was stiff competition, and although I think she gave a dynamite performance, there may be other artists that have stronger fan bases, and she might get knocked out. So vote for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I really felt Bree, and obviously we closed out on Washington State, and we sort of talked about Washington State at the beginning. But Almira, you weren't here. I have to know. Did you know who Alan? So I knew who Alan Stone was. So when I saw like the whole makeup of the American Song Contest, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even put in. Actually, wait, I might have, but I don't think that I did put in a request for him because I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen. I just was like, I don't know if it's even gonna happen, but yeah, what did you think of Washington State?
I mean, he was great. I think I wasn't really paying attention too much, honestly, because at that point I was like, Brie was the last person that I wanted to see. But I probably shouldn't say that, but it's okay. I mean, I think he did great. I don't really have any specific notes on him or anything. I actually wasn't even too familiar with him prior as well either. So
Yeah, so I will just say, I mean, I think so I guess this is the moment where we do our predictions. Okay. So the jury results have Washington, Alan Stone in number one position. And then we have Jared from Boston in second place, followed by Nevada, the Crystal Method. And then Bree is in fourth position. Alexis is in fifth. We have Stella Cole in sixth position. And then it's Utah with Savannah Keys. Eighth position was Mari, New Hampshire. Ninth was Hawaii. 10th was Arizona. And 11th was Washington, D.C. I'm going to just say this right now. No one has to co-sign, so no one's going to get in trouble. Hold on. Let me see if I can isolate it this way. Hold on. So, because I don't want nobody to get in trouble. All right. So you can isolate me. These juries are real sus. This is weird to me. And I'll say it's weird to me because I feel like the entries that we as American Eurovision fans could say, like, the American Song Contest isn't just because this is what the critics were saying. The critics were saying, oh, it's just going to be like country music for the American Song Contest and super homogenous. And I just think it's unfortunate that some of the entries here, some, not all, but some of the entries that I think really show the diversity of America, i.e., Arizona, even Washington giving us the dabble of go-go, and Hawaii in the bottom three. It feels very radio programmy. And this is also why I don't work in radio anymore. So no one else should get in trouble. Y'all won't be in trouble. I said it. No one else said it. But with this, we now know as fans how we can activate. I will say I like the fact that we have the jury scores because it gives me more purpose when I know that I'm putting in my points. It allows me to go, okay, I need to target these points and make sure I'm giving love because to me, my heart will break if we don't have an R&B song in the final. I just because right now of the qualifiers we've got Oklahoma Alexa with the K-pop aka pop song. We've got Puerto Rico, Christian Pagan giving us, loco, da 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 da, which actually, that's crazy. I didn't even know that I would still remember that song. So that's crazy that I'm like, so that's saying something that I still remember Loco. And then we've got Michael Bolton with, oh, oh, oh my gosh. I still remember that one too. So The Bolton got me. The Bolton got me. And then obviously Rhode Island, Houston held on too long. Our second qualifiers from Heat 2 were Joan April. Mom, your song. Why don't we fire it up? Why don't we fire it up?
So Gwen, at least just to fill you in, Alicia
Oh
was
Lord,
putting my
she's gonna
guy
rub it in.
down. I said, "This is the American Song Contest. This guy, works on a ranch. He had his shirt off and has some sweat going on, and then he sang the song." And I told Alicia, I said, "They're gonna vote for him. They're gonna vote for him." But stop waiting. I said, "They're gonna vote for him." So there you go. That's the background.
So we're gonna fire it up. And then of course we have Jordan Sparrow. Okay. And then we have North Dakota, Chloe Franks. I can make you love me. Okay, girl.
I can't make you love me. Wouldn't want you. I love Chloe. She's
Wouldn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah, come on, girl. Wouldn't want to do it. And then we had Kansas. Kansas. Mm-hmm.
Tell me that you love me. That one. Is there someone else above me? Waves are crashing down. Will you let me drown? I don't feel so lucky.
His
Hey.
falsetto was on point.
So good. I Broderick really did serve us a nice full package. The song was good. It was radio friendly. So we have that. And then off last week we have Grant Kanoki with Mr. Independent. And then Tennessee was 17. Alabama Nico with The Difference. And then Colorado Riker Lynch. So honestly, I was right last week. Let's just give me my flowers.
Yes, you were. You were right.
I was right last week. I said that Colorado, I felt like, was the only person on the outside, and I said that I thought Florida was probably going to get knocked out, just given because it was like New York was knocked out, Virgin Islands was knocked out, so I was like, I don't think Florida's advancing. So just based off of that information, and then Riker having the, I don't even know what that group is, but it was some Disney TV show. I don't know what it was. Almira, are you young enough?
No, so it was his brother that was in that show, Ross Lynch.
Now I know, but they had a band.
Okay.
But I know that, because honestly, the way that I knew the brother, this tells you the media. Right? Oh, I didn't watch Glee. Okay. The media that I consumed, he played Jeffrey Dahmer in an independent film. Actually, wait, no, Mom. Remember when we were in the mountains of Virginia on that wine trip? I think that movie came on there. I think that's when I first watched it. His brother was in that movie. It was free TV on a wine trip. They had no cable, whatever. So now we're looking at Heat number 4. And I'll tell you right now, I would like Bri to stick around. Bri might stick around. Jared might be the one, because this is the thing. What we've noticed from the jury scores is one person comes out. And Alan is already a lock. We know he's qualifying. I think Nevada's qualifying. I don't think that Nevada's dipping out. I think so. I don't know.
It's so much competition this
week was tough. I mean, Almira, do you feel like when you look at sort of the way that the heats were mixed up, what do you feel like was the main theory? Because with Eurovision, sometimes we have like a draw for like semi 1 or semi 2. Whereas this one, the production team sort of said, we'll do this, these sector of states, but I think they knew the artists by the time they set up, because I think that they were looking for diversity. But I don't know, from your perspective as one of the participants, how did you think that they were kind of divvying up the pots for the semifinal or the pre-qualification round?
Honestly, I've been trying to figure out the formula myself. I mean, I just have looked at all the rounds and then like diversity, like you said, down to like their stories or the states, or like just their genre. And I think that's the biggest thing that it came down to, like the genre. So like, say they had put me and Stella Cole in the same round. We're not too similar, but just like the message of our song is pretty similar, kind of like that, like very much like female empowering, like breakup record, and just like putting the man to shame or whatever. Like those are kind of similar in that sense. So I think they just really took it down to the genre of the song and what the song was, because they wouldn't have put Houston, King Coyote, Alan Stone all in one either, you know. So I think that's really just what it came down to. And then I don't know how they assigned the weeks. Um, I think they were just trying to take into account like how ratings would go and everything like that. But having someone like Alexa in the first episode, that I think was like, okay, like let's see how her fan base takes, and then how the ratings go with that, and then like putting someone else with a big fan base in the second episode, and it keeps going, the ball keeps rolling. So we'll see how it goes, like with the viewership down to like the fifth episode, when they have someone like Cisco, how many of his fans from back in the day are going to come back and tune into him. So I don't know, there's a lot of different factors. I don't know the formula, but those are just my predictions.
Okay, Mom, what four do you want to see advance? And then Gwen, you got some time. Do you have your four? Formulate your four that you would want to see advance from this week. And I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. I'm just going to say straight up, to me, this was like the most competitive week. And I felt like it felt more competitive in the sense that I felt like last week was weak, but I felt like last week was weaker. I say this with quotation marks because I felt like they were trying to pad it to have Jewel advance. Now, this is just my conspiracy theorist, completely third party, not involved theory behind it, because to me, when we looked at the makeup of the artist going into it, and even kind of just the objective genres of it, I think that they were setting it up for a shoe-in for Jewel. And I mean, ultimately, what she was just on the outside, but given how low she came with the juries, I think that she's going to be in our, what do you call it? Our fan favorite. I think that Wyoming is going to be in the fan favorite bucket. And I think that Jewel is going to be in the fan favorite bucket. And we know two people are going to advance from the fan favorite bucket. And I feel pretty confident that the production wants New Boot Goofin. So however they can figure out to get New Boot Goofin in the final, they're going to, or at least in the semifinal, they're going to figure it out. And then, and I think, I think Jewel won the televote last week. I do think she did, because she was in ninth position and then ended up in fifth. So I think that she did win the televote. Okay, Mom, do you have your four?
Yes.
Okay.
So the four that I would like to see go to the semifinals, I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say who I would like to see, and then I'm going to say who I think is going to go, because they're not the same, unfortunately. So I would like to see Arizona, Massachusetts, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Now, I love
Well, hold on, but
Washington.
Washington State is already in, so you
I
really only
know,
okay.
but you said who I wanted to see and
Okay.
who. So I know Washington State is there, but I'm gonna steal Gwen's thing and talk about the underdog. I mean, Washington State is going to he's going to be successful. He's already successful. If this is the American Song Contest, let's bring some more of America to the forefront. So that's my pitch. So the people I think who are going to be there would be Washington State, Massachusetts, okay? And I think, and this is my prediction based on the my concept of social media and the fan base, and I just say that because it's limited. Uh, I think Arizona and Georgia will join Washington State and Massachusetts
In what?
in the semifinal. You get four, right? So
Um,
I think the ones that are going to go would be Washington State with the people's choice, Washington State, Arizona, Massachusetts, and Georgia.
okay, Gwen, who are the four that you, well, not four, but technically three that you would like to see advance?
So I'd still like to see New Hampshire advance, and I'd like to see Massachusetts, and I'd like to give Pennsylvania a shot. So those would be mine. And then, of course, Washington is Washington. I'd love to see Arizona also, but again, those would be the three.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining the stream this evening. I'm going to bring this to a close. If you have been watching this stream and you aren't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Come on now. If you loved this, then you want to get more of this. So in order to do that, you're going to have to click that subscribe button. Thank you so much to Almira for joining us. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, Mom. Y'all hang tight, and I'm going to close out the stream. Join us next week because we will be live again, and maybe live